So this is a hive at my house that I inspected 2 days ago, and I put a new box on the top because they had completely filled their other two boxes. And you can see that there's a problem with the third box. There was an opening at the corner, and I don't have the box on the hive very straight. So the bees are treating it like it's a dangerous area that they need to protect, which they're right about. So what I'm going to do, I thought you'd find this interesting. So what I'm going to do in this hot Atlanta time, when robbing is likely to happen, I thought I would fix this and show you all how I'm going to do it. I'm going to put on a different box. It doesn't have a hole, but the change should be remarkable. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do an inspection of this hive because we just did one, but I am going to smoke these bees to see if they will go away, which they're not particularly interested in doing, and smoke the front of the hive, which I don't know if you can hear, but it did not make the bees happy. So I've got a box right over here that I'm going to put on the hive. Here's the box that I'm going to put on the hive. Take the top off, take the inner cover off, and for those of you that have been following my hive inspections, this hive is the sister to the little nuke hive at the garden. I'm going to take off the top box, the problematic box. And we can see at the front corner that there's a piece of wood missing, which is the problem. So I'll put a hive drape over this just to protect these bees. And make a decision about whether to put another box on or not. Maybe I shouldn't. I was in a hurry and it was really hot the other day. And I'm going to look at this box and see maybe I don't need to put another box on. This box has, these two frames are not being used. Yes, they are. Yeah, I still think I need to put the box back on. So we're going to put this box on instead, and it should not have this problem at the corner. So put this box on and make sure it fits because it wasn't sitting straight and good in the end of the last inspection. And this should solve the need for the bees to be in that corner. I'll try that one. And then, this is interesting, there's a bee carrying out a larva right there. I don't know if y'all saw it. Now in this new box, I did pull up a frame as a ladder in position number 4. So I'm going to take out the frame in position number 4 and put the new frame in exactly that position. So now we should have solved their problem. We'll see. Now because this box has been on this hive, I'm going to shake it over the hive to encourage the bees to go into the hive. I'm also going to leave it standing in front of the hive, which will also get the bees to go back home. And I'm now going to put the inner cover back on. I put my hand right on top of the bottom of the bee, which case you deserve it, right? I'm going to kill a small hive beetle and another have solved a problem. Okay, so I finally have the smoker lit. You know how long it takes me. Gonna smoke the front door. And we'll see if they're swarming or not. I mean, we'll see. They are swarming, but we'll have to see if they have queen cells or not. I'm also going to put a different top on this hive. I have a better one. So, take off the top. Lots of bees under here. That one's a nice beginning. To make a loud popping slam into these bees. So, if these bees are swarming, we have to wonder why. I put a robber screen on them, and I don't think they liked the robber screen, so I took it off as they were swarming last night. This whole box is empty, so it's not like they're crowded, but they don't have any, there's not an extra close, so they don't have, they've only got one frame in here that is drawn, and so that may be part of it. They may have been swarming because they don't have anything to build wax with, and maybe this is an argument that I should be feeding these bees. They are sister hive to the hive at the garden, the little nuke hive at the garden. So I think we're going to go. They moved into the second box when I put this hive together, so I think we're going to look at this second box first. And what I'm doing is looking for queen cells. They're very calm, but you know, bees that are swarming have a plan, so I'm going to move you all over where I think you can see. Make sure that the mic and everything is on. It is. Okay, so let's see what we can find in looking for queen cells. Need to get my hive blade so I can access them. So we're going to go into the second frame from the side of the box. It was really amazing to see them swarming last night. And I came out here and turned the shower function of the hose on full blast and shot it up in the air toward the swirling bees. And I assumed the queen hadn't left, so they gathered at the bottom of the hive and stayed there till late into the night. Okay, so this is a frame that doesn't have any queen cells on it. We're just going to hang it on the rack on the side and look at every frame in this box to see if this is a hive that has queen cells and is prepared to swarm. Lots of bees in this hive. It actually looks a good bit better in terms of vigor than the hive at the garden. So now we're going to look at frame number 3. What we're looking for are swarm cells, which are typically queen cells that are at the bottom of the frame. I don't see any queen cells on this frame. I also don't see any brood on this frame. I mean, they are empty cells, probably depicting in part the fact that we have no nectar. So this is going to help me make a feeding decision, and more than likely I'm going to put a feeder box on this hive. so that they can have some supplies. Like we see, this is a frame they haven't even worked on. We've got bees bearding on it, festooning on it, but not making a queen cell. And not drawing wax, really, because we don't have any nectar. So we need to help them out with that. Here's another frame that's all empty. This definitely represents a brood break, because the queen is not laying in preparation, I'm sure, for swarming that should be happening today. I'm not showing you these frames because they have nothing on them to show you. So where we're probably going to find our swarm cells is in the bottom box. And we'll go down there in just a minute. Another frame with nothing on it. Nothing. And the other question is, were they absconding? Like they are out of food and the whole hive was going to leave, which is also something that happens when the nectar flow stops. And so I maybe should have been paying better attention to these bees and possibly giving them food earlier. But these bees have no supplies in this box. And same here, with empty brood frame, no eggs, no nothing. When a hive is going to abscond, what happens is the bees take all the honey into their honey stomachs and they leave with all the honey from the hive, whatever little bit there was, and they go desperately and hang on a tree somewhere and in hopes that they will actually find nectar somewhere, but of course there isn't any. Alright, so this is not a good sign that this hive was doing. I hadn't been in it very well in the last 4 or 5 weeks, so it's my fault. It's always the beekeeper's fault when something goes wrong. This is in particular my fault, because here we have another just completely empty frame. Every frame in this hive, that's frame number 1 that we don't usually look at, but I just looked at to make sure. So now we're going to go down to the bottom and see if that hive if this is just a really bad sign. This doesn't look good at all, and we may be going to lose this hive. I just got stung. Sorry, girls. So now what I'm going to do is take this box off and we're going to look in the bottom box. Let's see if it's in as bad a shape. If it is, these are bees that are absconding, and I'm just sick about it because it's my fault. This is what happens when you're a beehiver as opposed to a beekeeper, which is kind of how I've been treating these hives. I've been paying more attention to the hives in the garden than I have the hives in my yard. The second frame doesn't want to come out. There we go. These bees are absconding. There is nothing in this hive. Alright, so I'm going to look at one other frame and then I'm going to put a feeder on the top of this hive, which probably won't keep them from leaving, but it might address the problem for a second. No queen cells, no nothing. So that's what hive is doing. It is desperate and they are absconding. So I'm going to put it back together. Oh my gosh, I feel sick about this. These are great bees and I neglected them. So that's really bad. Bad beekeeping on my part. Bad for these poor little girls who just needed food. And I am sick about it. And last week when I was in here, there was honey, but not a lot, but honey enough that I thought they were okay. On Mondays when it was, when I moved this frame up. Let's see about this frame. I don't know, I think we'll just leave it alone too. Put this on. And put a hive break on. I'm going to just see if I put some honey on here today, if that will keep them. So desperately, I've put 2 feeders in here, one with sugar syrup and one with honey, but I doubt that they go to it. I think they're just going to leave, and I'm just extremely upset. Okay, I've come over to the garden to give a frame of brood and eggs to the swarm hive that I installed, and so that's what I'm planning to do. Okay, I'm going to take a frame of brood and eggs out of the sister hive. This hive should have the same genetics as the absconding hive. So we're going to try to get them to stay. If you put a frame of brood and eggs in most hives, the pheromone from the brood and eggs will make the hive stay. The problem with this hive is we're in an absconding phase, and absconding hives eat their young. So they're cannibals. So not sure that it will work, but I'm going to try. Now this one, I filled up the honey a couple days ago, so you can see they have a lot of honey. They're not taking a lot of it right now, which is just fine. And they have a new box. The inspection that we missed, I put a new box on this hive. Okay, so let's see if I can find a frame of brood and eggs. I washed all of my hive drapes so they're all neatly folded for 2 seconds, right? So hopefully in this box, I'll find a frame of brood and eggs that I can take. And I'm realizing I didn't bring a frame to replace it with, so I'm gonna have to keep this hive open while I put the frame in so that I can replace the frame I'm putting in with an empty frame from this other hive. So we're going to start with the second one in. So what I want is a frame with brood and egg. And I think it's got eggs, so I'm going to make absolutely sure of that. If y'all are going to be able to see the eggs, but I'm going to show you the frame. It's a very delicate frame, but the eggs are right in front of the camera lens if I've got the height right. But you don't have the light behind you, so you probably can't see them. But this is the frame we're going to take. So the first thing I want to do is get the bees off of it. I'm going to look really closely and see if I see the queen, because I don't want to take her. This frame is so barely attached. I think I might look at the next one because I don't want to shake or brush these bees off of a frame that's only attached in one tiny place. I'm going to try the third frame instead. That one sure looks good, and I may come back and get it anyway. It's just hard to take these off of. I can't shake that frame without damaging the comb. It's the small disadvantage of using foundationless cells, is that they don't attach them well at the bottom in the brood nest, and that one wasn't attached well at the top. This one is covered with older brood. Let's see what she's done in the empty cells on the other side of this. See if maybe we have any eggs. Actually, we do. Okay, this one will be a good one to take. The reason why is see how it's solidly attached top and bottom. So I'm going to be able to shake the bees off, and they won't I won't ruin the wax. So here we go. So I'm going to shake the bees off of this frame. And I'm going to take my bee brush and brush the rest of them. Now I'm going to wrap this in a hive tray so the bees won't come back to it. I'm going to set it on top of this hive box right here. I'm going to cover this box up with the hive drag, and we're going to move over to the other box because I've got to replace the frame in this box with the frame from the other box. So this is the box I put the absconding hive in. The top two boxes above the inner cover are surrounding a feeder. I put the entrance on this side so that it wouldn't be facing the same way as the nuke hive, and that helps with drift. I keep feeling like the entrance is on the other side, so I want to work it from the other side, which is not right. So I'm going to let y'all see what they did with honey. This were 2 full jars day before yesterday. And I didn't bring extra honey with me. I had it set out to bring and forgot it, so I'm going to stop by here in a little bit without you all and add honey. For right now, all I want to do is put in that frame of brood and eggs. So I need a hive drape, to make sure that I can keep these bees as calm as possible while I'm doing this. And I'm just going to put it in the top box because these bees don't have anything in here since they were absconding. It's not like they've got brood. They don't. So, or if they've laid some today or yesterday, but they're not a hive full of brood. So we're going to just take out a frame. We'll take one out of the center of the box so it'll be warmer for this little frame of brooding eggs. But there are plenty of bees in here to take care of them. Now this will be a nice frame to give the other hive because it has some, it's drawn comb already. I'm going to go straight over and put it in the other hive and close it up. Y'all are probably not going to be able to see me, but I don't want to leave them open. Now I'm bringing the wrapped up frame of brooding eggs from our little new hive. Get my space open. Unwrap it and put it in and hope these cannibals don't decide to eat everything in here and let them come out and grow and behave. The pheromone from open brood keeps bees from swarming. Now I don't know if it keeps them from absconding, but it keeps them from swarming. So now we have one other job I have to do on this hive, and that is, first of all, I'm going to turn this around. It was on the wrong side because I keep thinking the entrance is over here on this side of the hive, because that feels natural to me that they would fly out toward the community garden. But this, if you can see it, yes, the notch is an open door to come into this hive. Even though they come in right into the Boardman feeder, it's an open entry into the hive, and it sets it up so that they could potentially be robbed. So I'm going to use the dreaded staple gun and patch that. Cover it with screen wire before we leave, so that nobody can get into that little entrance. I don't know that it's that effective because literally you go in and you run right smack dab. No, you can get it. You can get into the hive. I can see the opening. So I brought this little screen wire with me and the dreaded staple gun. Don't y'all love watching me be awkward with the staple gun? So here you get to do it again. So, okay. I'm not going to worry about what I attach this to because we won't be taking this box off for a while. But what I'm going to try to do is attach it to the inner cover and to the box right above it. And I'll just have to take them off together if I have to take it off. I don't know quite what to do about that. Alright, that ought to do it. Ought to keep it from being an easily accessible entrance. It still might be an accessible entrance, but we don't want it to be robber accessible. I didn't do a very good job. Okay, best I can do to keep the robbers from being able to get in. Now, I'm gonna put the top back on. And our mission here is done, except I do have to come back with jars of honey. I'm heading out of town today. It'll be easy to stop by here on my way out with jars of honey. And in case you just want to watch, I'll move you over here so that you can see that I am putting back the top on our little nuke hive. And I won't bring it any more food because it clearly has plenty. But because those bees were leaving, I think, because they were hungry, I'm going to make sure they stay fed, and I'm going to be gone for about a week. So I'm bringing 2 jars of honey back for the almost absconded hive. And after I've done that, I'll only have 1 more jar of honey, and then I have to start feeding sugar water, which doesn't thrill me at all. This one actually has the same issue of the open hole. I didn't bring enough string wire to do it. I'm going to stuff it with grass. I had stuffed the other one with grass, but the bees had opened it up, which they probably will over here too. Let me show you what it looks like. See, I stuffed it with grass so that if some robber wants to come try, I just dare them. Okay, this is the end of the absconded hive. It seems to be staying. I'm crossing my fingers. All of the bees are flying. It just looks lovely up here. I so hope the absconding hive will stay. I can't really tell. It does look like there are more bees on the front than maybe there should be, but I mean, it's the community garden and they're very close to the botanical garden. Surely they can find something to eat if that's the reason that they left. I'm crossing my fingers. I hope you all will too.